Hey folks, Eric Bray, Focus Fishing Guide Service. Got another video fishing report for you for Table Rock. It is Tuesday, September the 4th, which means we are finally past Labor Day, which means we get the lake back, which is fantastic.
My fellow Americans, our long national nightmare is over.
Been on the water pretty much every day for the last week. Did take today off because I'm booked the next, I think, 18, 19 days in a row. Going to be on the water every day from now through the end of the month, basically. I've got stuff booked between tournaments and special events and guide trips, so be on the water every day for the next, well, basically through the end of the month. As far as our lake level is concerned, we are at 914.09 as of this morning. Means the lake came up about half to 3/4 of a foot. Good deal there. Got quite a bit of rain last week. Thursday, I guess it was Wednesday, Thursday, even a little bit into Friday we got some rain. They are calling for a bunch of rain coming up this end of this week with the remnants of Tropical Storm Gordon coming to shore in the Gulf either today or tomorrow, and then making its way up here by Thursday and Friday. So we are looking at a lot more rain. If we get the 2 to 6 inches that they're calling for, good chance the lake will be back at normal pool by this time next week. As far as our lake temperature is concerned, water temperature, we are back at 82, 83. I mean, all these warm days we've had ever since that rain passed through has really brought that water temperature back up. Pretty much everywhere I go, I'm seeing at least 81 or 82. Some areas up the James, I've seen as warm as 84. Hopefully we get this rain. It'll be a cool rain, and we'll get some cooler temperatures and start to drop that water temperature down. But fish are biting. We've been catching them pretty much every trip I've gone out. We've caught quite a few fish and doing a few different things, but things pretty much are staying the same. If you guys are coming down, say you're going to fish the lower end of the lake, best bite we've got going on right down there right now has definitely still been a drop shot rig. Catching a lot of fish on a drop shot with a shad shape, cut tail, UV drop shot worm, Chomper's drop shot worm. All those baits are working. Out on those gravel points and flats seem to be where most of the fish are hanging out, anywhere from about 22 to about 35 feet deep. Holding down there on the bottom, you don't see a lot of fish. You'll see a couple come up here or there, but you don't see a lot of fish coming up. But when you do hook one, the bottom will kind of explode like we talk about, so you'll start to see more fish starting to show up a lot better down there on that. Catching a few on the top water, but again, you know, the top water bite has been kind of mediocre. You'll go out one day and it'll be really good, whether it's cloud cover or whatever, get those fish chasing shad. But for the most part, it sits on my deck. If I see them bust, I'll throw it at them. I've been catching a few on a spook, a few on a Sammy, and a few on a whopper plopper, a few on the Ozuri popper too, but it's not been a real viable pattern. But have it ready just in case they do come up. Spoon bite's still good, doing well with the Jewel Scuba spoon. Same places we're catching those deep fish on a drop shot. Deep gravel points, anywhere from about 22 to about 35 feet deep. Those longer points that have a little bit of a roll off on one side have been a little bit better than some of the others. Dixie Jet spoon's been pretty strong as well. Catching a few on it, casting it, but again, it's like that top water bite. You know, one day you do really well with it, the next day you kind of struggle. So have a Dixie Jet, have a top water laying out, but don't count on it as a reliable pattern right now until things start to cool off. The best bite, or the other bite that we've got going on down there right now that's been pretty strong, has been a football jig bite. Either a 1/2 ounce or 5/8 ounce Jewel football jig in either Okeechobee blue or peanut butter and jelly or green pumpkin candy, matched up with either a J-tail or a beaver. Out on those same gravel points, seems like I can catch spots on a drop shot and I catch smallmouth on a football jig. So have a football jig tied on. Most of them are on those gravel runouts, 18 to about 25 feet deep. Those fish tend to be a little bit too spooky to drop shot, but you can catch them on a football jig. And if there's brush or a rock pile, pay special attention to that, because that seems to be what's holding the better fish. Go up into the Kimberlink City area. Same bites are working up there that have been working. Still catching them on a drop shot rig, shad shape, cut tail. UV drop shot worm, chompers drop shot worm. A lot of those fish are coming off of those gravel runouts and gravel points out there 25, 35 feet deep, somewhere in that area. Again, you won't see a lot of them out there. You might see one come up or two come up, but you will catch them on a drop shot rig out there. Have been catching a few around docks in the Kimberling City area, not as much, not really catching them in the dam area around docks as well as when you're in Kimberling City, but those deeper docks off the ends of them where the cables are, seem to be catching a few fish off of those. Seems like if the gravel bite's not working, I can catch them on docks and vice versa. The bite in the trees has not been nearly as good as it will be here in another month or so. And spoon bite's been pretty strong down there too. Both the Jewel Scuba Spoon out there on those gravel points, on those gravel runouts, you get those fish worked up. You can catch them better on the Scuba Spoon. Doing okay with the Dixie Jet. It's kind of like the topwater bite. You get the right day, the right conditions, you can catch them on a Dixie Jet. You can catch them on a topwater, either spook, Sammy, or Yozuri popper, but you've got to have the right conditions for that to work. The best bite by far, though, has been a Jewel football jig as far as producing quality fish, doing a lot better with either the 1/2 ounce or 5/8 ounce Jewel football jig, Okeechobee Blue, green pumpkin candy, peanut butter and jelly. This past week, since the water's warmed up, I've done a little bit better using a beaver as a trailer versus using the J-tail as a trailer. But either one will work, but I seem to catch better quality with the beaver as a trailer versus the J-tail. Go up into the James. James has been strong. Was up in the James one day last week and really catching numbers in the James. I'm not catching a lot of better fish, but I'm catching a lot of numbers in the James. A lot of fish, a lot of spots, a lot of smaller largemouth, 14 to 16 inch largemouth. Not very many smallmouth up there, but a lot of spots. And you can catch a limit up there, but it's probably going to be a 12 or 13 pound limit versus other areas of the lake where you could probably put together a 14 to 15 or even 16 pound limit if you get a good kicker fish. Best bite up there has by far been the Jewel football jig. 1/2 ounce, 5/8 ounce, Okeechobee Blue, green pumpkin candy. Watermelon candy was pretty strong up there as well. Again, the beaver seems to be working as a trailer a little bit better up there. A little bit better than the J-tail. Have caught a few on a J-tail, but the beaver seems to be working since the water's warmed back up. We saw 84, 85 up above point 12 last week, so not sure why that is. It could just be the weather pattern, but the beaver was definitely a better trailer for us. Did catch a few on a spoon up there as well. Jewel Scuba Spoon out there a little bit deeper, 25 to 35, basically hopping it off the bottom. Got those fish activated, and because you've got more numbers and it seems like they're schooled up a little bit better up the James, definitely catching more fish on a spoon up there. Dixie Jet was okay. Topwater's okay. Again, it's really, they're just not there yet, guys. Give them another 2 to 3 weeks. If we get some cooler weather, some cooler nights, some water comes up, I really think that topwater bite's really going to kick off. But right now, it's going to be a little bit slow for the next couple of weeks on a topwater bait. And then a big worm. We did catch a few on a big worm while I was up there. Again, not catching the size that I expect on a big worm. I kind of feel like those fish may be moving a little bit on me. Throwing it into the brush piles anywhere from about 8 to about 15, even 20 feet deep up there. Caught a few decent ones, 2.5, 3s. Had one about 4, but really just not the quality you expect to catch on a big worm when you're throwing it up there in a James. But you can catch them on a big worm. Seems like that bite's a little bit better a little further up around Cape Fair, and further up Bear's Den, those sort of areas where you've got those little bit deeper brush piles off of those flats and kind of near some deeper water, really seems to be key to catching those fish. Go up in the White, and I tell you what, guys, the White River was a blast last week. A lot of fish, caught a lot of fish every trip up there, caught some better quality fish up there as well. They seem to be a little bit more schooled up closer to Baxter than they do, say, up around Shell Knob. But we're catching better quality up around Shell Knob and above. So it's kind of, do you want to catch numbers or do you want to catch better quality? Drop shot bite was fantastic up there. Caught a lot of fish on a shad shape, a lot on a cut tail. Caught them on the UV drop shot worm. Caught them on the Chompers drop shot worm. Again, gravel points, gravel runouts out there. 18, yeah, as shallow as 18, all the way out to about 32 or 35. But it really seemed like the key depth was at 22 to 27 was where we caught most of them. You will see schools, especially if you're down around Baxter. You won't see as many numbers when you get up around Shell Knob and above, but the fish seem to be better quality up above there. Catching them good on a top water on certain days. I've got a few spots up there that I really like to throw a top water this time of year. I did fairly well with a top water. Spook, Sammy, Whopper, Plopper, those were all working. I think that bite's going to get better though as the water cools off, as things turn more towards fall, especially if we get some rain and it brings the lake up, we'll definitely see that bite turn on a lot better than it is right now. Scuba spoon was good. Caught a lot of fish. Actually, the better fish we caught up around Shell Knob, most of those came off of a scuba spoon versus off of a drop shot rig. A lot of those fish out there, 25 to 35 feet deep, and they're mostly singles or pairs. You don't see the big schools on your graph. You see a single or a pair, and that's where we're catching them on a scuba spoon. And then the football jig bite. Probably the best football jig bite on the lake right now is up the White River. And really from about the mouth of Big Creek up to about Big M seems to be where our best football jig bite is. Throwing the 1/2 ounce or 5/8 ounce jewel football jig, Okeechobee blue, green pumpkin candy, watermelon candy. Again, the beaver was a little bit better trailer up there than the twin tail, the J tail, but you know, either one will work, but we were catching them a little bit better with a beaver as a trailer, and actually the smallie beaver was a little bit better trailer. We caught a lot of fish up there this past week and some better quality that up there this past week on a football jig, so make sure you have that tied on if you're going up the White as well. Guys, yeah, we are past Labor Day and it's a beautiful thing. The last weekend was pretty rough out there. Had a lot of boat traffic to deal with. I'm glad it's over. It's the unofficial start of the fall fishing season and the end of the summertime craziness that we have to deal with on Table Rock. But fishing's been great, and it's only going to get better. If we get this rain they're calling for this weekend, the fishing's really going to turn on. If the water comes up a little bit, cools off a little bit, it'll really get the fish moving. It's kind of what we need. Guys, if you're thinking about coming down, I'm pretty well booked up the month of September. But October's pretty open, and October's a great time to come. I know the Toyota tournament's coming back to Branson for this year, so if maybe you guys are fishing that and you want to go out for a half a day and kind of figure some stuff out, great idea. Give me a call. Getting a lot of people that have just bought lake houses, taking a lot of folks out that just want to, you know, change the season, see what happens, see how you catch fish. Caught them in the summertime drop shotting, now it's cooling off. Want to see how to catch fish doing that. That's a great idea too. Or maybe you're just coming to town for a mini vacation and you want to go fishing. Whatever it is, if you want to go fishing, give me a call. It's Focus Fishing Guide Service. You can reach me at 417-860-4743. Hit my website, focusfishing.com. Either shoot me an email or book online. Either way, I'll get back to you as quick as I can. We'll get something set up. But guys, thanks for watching the videos. Take a minute to subscribe if you don't mind. But thanks for watching. Can't wait to hear from you. We'll see you on the water.